Hi there, Aries. Welcome to a love reading for August 2025. It's Tarot Alchemy with Rain and Moon. If you're not familiar with me, I'm an astrologer who also does the tarot. My main channel is Rain and Moon Astrology, and I do I do some tarot readings there, but I am kind of focusing more on or specializing with love readings here, specifically love readings. Sometimes on my main channel I get love readings with my tarot readings, so I can't get away from it, I guess, at some point. But anyway, just in case you don't know, if you know who I am, welcome to my second channel. Okay, and hopefully you can't hear any noise outside, but they are doing work out there. Ugh. The heart of the matter, the world card, something that is ending. This is graduation day. But yeah, so if you're graduating from college and you're splitting up with someone or you're going in different directions, it's like, are we going to be able to maintain this romance in the real world? Or is this just something because living away from home and living in this college environment is kind of this fantasy life that it has very limited time frame. But in general, I would say that the World card is like an era in your life ending in general. And I feel like this is something that is going to become more pronounced as the not so much this year, but next year, because you're going to have a solar eclipse in your 7th house of relationships next February in your opposite sign of Aquarius. Oops. So the heart of the matter is the World card, and this is a card that speaks to the end of a cycle. So an example could be, I mean, this isn't going to be for everyone, obviously, but if, let's say, you met somebody in college and now you've both graduated, this is graduation day. She's holding, I thought those were batons, but they're diplomas. But let's say now college is over with and you're not so sure that you can maintain this relationship because in college it's kind of a form of unreality, and does it translate to the real world? But if you're single, this may be the end of your singledom, you know? And by the way, being single, you could be like 60 years old and single. It's not just somebody who's in their early 20s or what have you. So it might be speaking on you're going to, be in this place where things could change very quickly. In the past position, we have the Four of Pentacles, and this may indicate that some Aries were chasing the dollar or their money. Maybe you were working a lot and therefore you were kind of like not available for financial matters. If the World card is representing a relationship that is over with, that could have been the culprit, like working too long. Maybe it's, how they say it's nobody's fault. We were just doing different things at different times. Well, yes and no, because in the sense, I don't really believe it's helpful to blame oneself for anything in life, because that just creates, negative self, chastising emotions. But I'm talking about just looking at what caused a situation. Yes, I think definitely if you're not putting enough time into a relationship, it's not going to last. Even if you're married, and even if, or, living, cohabitating, and you're there at night together, you might be going, sleeping in the same bed, but you're not necessarily investing your energy into that person. So how can it really flourish? And people have to think about that. And maybe they grow so far apart because they have their separate lives that eventually it can't be brought back together. And that just is how it is. And you learn from that. That's all. It provides information. The higher message is the Knight of Wands. This, I really, this card is supposed to be Sagittarius, but I associate it with Aries because knights are warriors, aren't they? So I think of the sign that's ruled by the god of war, or Mars, is a warrior. And this is a card that can indicate somebody who has commitment issues. And I don't think commitment issues means that somebody is destined to cheat or anything like that. It's just that they love their freedom. So this is one of the reasons why, if the World card represents a relationship that you're currently in that seems like it's on the rocks, that could be the cause, is that you were with somebody who maybe was too possessive, and they didn't give you your space, and therefore that made you even more wanting to kind of run for the hills. So it's important in the future for people like that they really pay attention to what their needs are, so they can get involved with a person who is really right for them. Not on paper, but in reality. And if you're single, understand that just because you may have experienced like a possessive person, or maybe a parent who is very overbearing, and you're afraid that a significant other will be like that it doesn't have to be that way. You can definitely have a relationship where someone is they might love their freedom too, and so they're willing to grant it to you. What crosses you is the Tower card. I think like for anything that a person knows is over with, that the Tower card is like, if somebody doesn't actually take action themselves, it will happen eventually. Like something has to give. There could be like a crisis point, and you don't necessarily, you want to be able to see if something's over with, or acknowledge if something is over with. And if you are in a new cycle in life, because there's nothing wrong with that. That you are going to have a situation that is more compatible in the future. So embrace that. Actually, the Tower for me is like the eclipses that we experience, and how they tend to shift people into a new state of being. And so what's coming in is the Three of Cups. This can be taking refuge in your friendships, celebrating lighthearted kind of behavior. So if you've just come out of a relationship, you may like commiserate with your friends. Maybe you joke about it, and before you know it, you're over it because you have their support, and they also help you to put it in perspective. And they might be like, well, duh, We were trying to tell you that this person was too controlling, and you wouldn't listen to us. Oh, and by the way, I think one of the things with Aries too is that they tend to allow their physical attraction for someone to take center stage. And that can be disastrous sometimes, because just because you're attracted to someone physically doesn't mean they're the right person for you, obviously. I think about a lot of those love-hate relationships that we hear about are actually lust-induced, where the person has a one-dimensional relationship with someone, and that just causes, they might not have compatible temperaments and or goals or just worldviews. And we don't have to have, carbon copy worldviews with one another, but it really does help to be on the same page with a lot of that stuff. The outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. You can see that archway, which represents kind of like a portal or a doorway, and that's what aces are. They're kind of like these portal times when we can step into a new reality. Pentacles relate to the earth signs, Taurus, Leo, and Capricorn. Because Capricorn is a fellow cardinal sign to Aries, I feel like that can be a sign that you may be smitten by. You might even meet at work. And that person may have a grounding influence on you as well. This could be someone that you meet that ends up really playing an important part of your life, because Pentacles can be like that foundation, or it's something that isn't twisting in the wind. If you have like an Ace of Wands, that's fire energy and you're a fire sign. Okay, that's great, but fire can burn out very quickly. The Pentacles are that's kind of like coming from a very grounded sort of place. All right, Aries, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, be it astrology or the tarot or both, I have love readings that combine the two, but I have all kinds of readings. You can check the link below for more information. Thanks for watching. Bye.